much about 911 unless you actually have to make the call. And so when you make that call, you want someone to be on the other end that's calm, confident, and be able to take care and get you help. And so when I first became a 911 director, I didn't know anything about 911 except for they dispatched me 2 calls. You call 911 and somebody sends help, and I keep up the radio and somebody answers it. Over the years, I got an amazing education on just how complicated and what an elaborate system it is, and how dedicated the dispatchers are. They're the absolute experts at multitasking. These folks can take a 911 call, answer the phone, dispatch that call, talk to the radio, have a conversation with me, and eat a yogurt all in about 10 seconds. So they can get all that done all at the same time. So we don't have very many opportunities to thank them because they're unsung, unseen heroes that really have a small part in that real stressful moment. It's sometimes the moment that can be the worst day of someone's life. And people often forget about the dispatchers, but really they do make a huge difference in our public safety, our public health, and our healthcare system. So one more round of applause for those folks.
Thank you, Keith. Number 4 and 5 is another proclamation that has been published and read, so we'll get that. If that's all right with y'all. Number 6 is an agreement. I hereby accept this agreement between K&K Insurance and Union County for active insurance coverage for all amateur sport participants in the Union County Recreation Department. The cost of this coverage is $6,282.55 for the period of April 5th, 2025 to April 4th, 2026. Number 7 is agreement amendment. I hereby accept this agreement amendment between the Georgia Transportation Infrastructure Bank and Union County to extend the project spend down expiration date by 1 year until July 25th, 2026. This is for the grant in the amount of $1 million, and we received for the Pat Harrison roundabout. This gives us some additional time to move forward with the project and still have access to this funding. Number 8 is business license. Everyone has been provided a copy of the list of business licenses issued in Union County from March 17, 2025 to April 13, 2025 for the purpose of operating a short-term rental in Union County. I hereby approve all business licenses contained on the list provided, and the list will be made a part of the minutes. Number 9 is lease agreement. I hereby accept this lease agreement between Union County Saddle Club and Union County for 8.65 acres with parcel number 023015A and 6.82 acres with parcel number 023015, which includes the Union County horse racing, station stand, and parking area. The duration of this lease is for 1 year with the Union County Saddle Club to Union County for lease premises. Number 10 is lease agreement. I hereby accept this lease agreement between W.C. Melton Jr. and Union County for all the tract and parcel of land lying in land lot 37, District 10, first section of Union County, Georgia being 2 acres for $750 per month. Commencing on the date of signing and continuing on the same day. At a rate to be negotiated. This lease is for the volunteer fire station that is located at the end of Jones Creek Road. The lease has been $500 per minute for many years and went up to $750. Number 11, notice of award. Pam come up and tell us about this project and the bid process. Please.
I'm Pam Hawkins. I work in the Commissioner's office, and I just want to tell you a little bit about this award on the 911 Center. We have been needing a new 911 dispatch facility for a very long time. The current situation that they're in has been bad for a very long time, so we're going to use SLOSS funds to build a new 911 dispatch center. It's going to be on Shoe Factory Road. We actually, right before you get to Fire Station 1. We put the bid out, or the RFP out in January 29th. Proposals came in March 12th. We received a total of 13 proposals from contractors, so we have spent the last 4 or 5 weeks reviewing these proposals. We actually asked contractors to submit their qualifications proposals separately from their price, and we review who's qualified, who's not for such a project, and then open the pricing proposals. So we have finally narrowed it down to award it to Winkler & Winkler. Out of the 13 proposals we received, the prices range from $3.743 million to $4.646,792 million. We learned a long time ago to not go with the lowest bid because you kind of get what you pay for. We had a contractor years ago that we went with the low bid because it was a situation where we had to, and that general contractor bailed, quit paying their subcontractors, and then we had to get the bonding company involved. So we try to find the most qualified for the best price, and that's what we did. The building is approximately 8,000 total square feet. The bottom of the facility will be the 911 dispatch center. They're going to have a brand new, great facility, and we're going to be super proud of that. They're going to be excited to be in it. Should last a very, very, very long time. And then upstairs will be about 4,500 square feet, I believe, and it's going to house the 911 mapping office and some other like record storage and other places that we have in the old nursing home where the dispatch center is now that we need to get out of that building because it's old. Let's see. I think that's about it. We'll be awarding it to Winkler & Winkler for $3.868241, $3,868,241. And if anybody has any questions, I've got lots of information I can give you after the meeting. Thank you.
They've been really busy. We're also looking at first steps of doing a new office up at the road department, the transportation office. They've been needing that for quite some time as well. We got that in the works, get some plans drawn up on that. 911 calls this month have been off the wall, extremely busy. Running, taking calls. Like one thing, fire department's going out. One thing that I'd like to stress heavily is we've been getting some dry days and winds picking up. They report the brush fires one after another. So I ask that everyone really keep that take that into concern and keep that in mind when you're doing your brush burning. And I know it's spring here and clean up. Be very cautious when we're doing that. On May 2nd and 3rd, we've got a car show coming into Blairsville. Chamber of Commerce has coordinated that. This gentleman of Tennessee looking for an extremely great weekend, looking for a lot of folks coming into the county, bring a lot of revenue in. That being said, it's going to be really crowded at Meeks Park from the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So, if you're heavy walkers that like to go and enjoy the park, it's going to be congested. So keep that in mind before you go out. We're looking forward to the car show. If everything goes well, that'll be start becoming it'll be an annual event that we'll do every year. Also, the Sorghum Festival, Chamber of Commerce has worked extremely hard, got a nonprofit organization going on that, so we'll continue with it. I hope that, and I'm sure it's going to go as well as it has for the past 55 years. Rec department's in full swing, sports going everywhere, kids having a ball. We just finished up the Easter egg hunt last weekend for them. They threw out over 15,000 eggs for them. We done the first ever bunny run. Turned out, I thought, a great event. Kids had a blast. Really appreciate the rec department, everybody involved in doing that as well. Also, the rec department, they converted their swimming pool over to saltwater this past month. Initial cost to do that was about $19,000, but it was costing us $12,000 a season in chemicals. So by changing, converting to saltwater, it's going to save about $7,500 a year, so it's going to pay for itself relatively quick. Iron Herbert Reese has opened up Monday. It's open, I think, 7 days a week now. You know, they're doing some great things up there as well, and get a chance to go by and support them. Petite Creek Campground wide open, opened up. I think the beach is open Saturdays. If anybody, that's a little early, but if anybody wants to go down and enjoy the cold water, go right ahead. They'd be glad to have you down there. Transfer station is booming, going great on recycling. We're seeing a green light over there, bringing in some revenue over there. Matt and done extremely well. Yeah, the paper shredder up and going, so anybody that's got any private documentation that they need to get rid of, Matt is legal to do it. Every day of the week, is that correct, Matt?
Yes, sir.
It's there available. Give him a call. He'll help you out with your needs. Farmers Market cannery's working, getting ready for that season coming up. We're actually going to install an ATM machine that'll be available. In the past, they've been asking for an ATM machine over there before, so that'll be available this year as it opens. All of our department heads, we've been focusing on and started focusing on the 2026 budget. And while they're doing this, still working, doing their everyday needs for the county and their departments as far as work. Our building department, head inspector Gavin King has resigned and he's moving on to the high school to do a teaching job there. We've actually put out on social media and the paper looking for replacements, and we've received 2 applications. The first one was a great fit, well knowledge, been in the business for years and years. We made him an offer and he rejected, which is understandable. That would be fine, but we have actually replaced Gavin with Mr. Hunter Bonhoff. He'll be starting May the 5th, I believe, is what we worked out with him. Also, another thing we've been working on is all of our fleet, our cars and equipment throughout the county. Been spending the last few weeks trying to coordinate what we've got and what we don't have in the past. Some of the vehicles have been moved from one department to the other. It wasn't necessarily transferred right over to each department, so we kind of lost lost a little hand on where they were at. And actually, we've got 10 to 12, I think, that we've not located yet. We worked really hard on trying to locate, and if they don't, appear back or come up with and find them, then it's something that's fell through the loop somewhere or another that actually got sold in auction and missed the loophole on getting taken out of our inventory. So hopefully, we'll get that pinned down in the next few weeks and get all that corrected out on it. But and 2, I'd like to mention that Commissioner's doors are always open. Anybody that ever needs to come in to talk, discuss, phone call away, our doors are always open. Give us a call.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. I'd like to thank our police force, our fire department, our 911 system, and our ladies in the office. Thank you a lot. County manager, like he said, the last week or 2, trying to run down all this vehicles and all this stuff and complaints. He's just been wide open. I like to personally thank Tony for that. One more update on the farmers market. We are going to have some shopping carts over there this time, so people can shop and push their vegetables, get stuff and then bring them back to our ATVs and then take them to your vehicle. And the shopping carts was donated by a private individual, so it didn't cost the taxpayers no money. I think we got 31 or 32 of our new shopping carts. So that'll be a plus with the ATM machine over farmers market. We had a grant. We got a new tractor over there today to work out past the farmers market at the old sheds. Our plan is out there to put us a small syrup mill and pan out there and grow a small patch of cane and to have it ready to make maybe the last week of September or before the Sawdust Festival starts, so we can promote our Sawdust Festival. We can show them how it's grown, we can show them cut down, we can show them how it gets back into the mill, and how it's cooked. And in that, we want to promote the Sawdust Festival with that operation over there. I know there's something else I'm getting, but I guess at this time I'll adjourn the meeting and ask questions. Oh, sorry. Miss Kay over here, I need to open the meeting back up. Sorry, Miss Kay. She got some follow-up stuff from last week. Sorry, no.
No problem. So, I have another presentation. First, I wanted to start with a follow-up from last meeting's question about the ownership of Union General Hospital. So I was able to get on the hospital's website. They have transparency information, which gives you years worth of data from the hospital, and also their Internal Revenue Service Form 990 is available on their website as well. So if there are questions about ownership of the hospital, then I suggest that you follow up with this website and look at that. It's detailed information. So some of you may have heard about Georgia House Bill 581. It was passed, and there was also a cleanup bill behind it that was passed. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that because it is effective this year. So when we talk about millage rate, and that's what the House bill is going to affect. So the tax rate in each county is set by the county commissioners. A tax rate of 1 mil represents a tax liability of $1 per assessed value. The average county and municipal millage rate in Georgia is 30 mils. So this is a portion of a presentation that was done by GMA, the Georgia Municipal Association, and ACCG, the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia, regarding House Bill 581. So first we look at floating homestead exemptions. 581 implements a statewide floating homestead exemptions for all local governments, school boards, counties, and cities. So this is a special type of homestead exemption that's designed to offset or reduce increases in the value of your property. So freezes are a type of floating homestead exemption, but they do not have an annual inflationary adjustment. Let's go to, so if you look at a floating homestead exemption, if your home or property is homesteaded, and it is valued in 2024 at $100,000. But then a year later, it's valued at $110,000. Then your property value is taxed at the base rate of $100,000. Now, 581 allows for a floating tax rate, which is adjusted by the Consumer Price Index. So, if your house is valued at $100,000, the Consumer Price Index is 2%. The following year, then your value is increased to $102,000. And So that gives you an $8,000 exemption on the value of your home. So I looked at, let's see, millage rates. If you go on the Georgia Department of Revenue at this website, you can see every county in Georgia and the breakdown of city, county, incorporated, unincorporated, school, state, all of their taxes. So I went through all this and then I totaled each county, the taxes for each county. And out of 159 counties in Georgia, Union has the lowest millage rate. And this is 2023 data. So you can see towns, Dawson, Fannin, Gilmer, a lot in our area, represent the lower mill rates. Metro Atlanta, of course, represents some of the highest at over $300. So then we looked back at the history of millage rates in Union County. And the Union County Tax Commissioner's Office provided this information. And you see in 1969, the millage rate was $31.20. And then by 1979, it had dropped to $13 and change. And you see now, with 2024, $11.37 was the millage rate. Now, this does not include the city, if you live in the city. And then the dates, in circles at the top, the end of bonds was in 1989, and the end of state tax was in 2016, so that we would assume had some effect on this. So after looking at millage rates, the other denominator, the other factor for taxes has to do with the valuation of your home. So the tax assessor's office provided this information, and this is the average home sales price between 2020 and 2023. No, 2000 and 2023. So if you look at 2000, it was about $125,000 was the average sales price. You can see the dips and increases, and those generally track with the economy. In 2024, the average home sales price is over $400,000. That is a 300% increase in values. Now, this is what House Bill 581 is going to address. Because even as your property values go up, there will be a cap on the value that you are taxed on. So then we looked at population and per capita income just to see what that looked like. And you can see population is here in green, and the axis on the left, 15,000 people, a little over 15,000 in 2000. And then in 2022, it was 27,000 approximately. I then took this data and I overlaid it all into one chart. So you're looking at the blue is the millage rate. Those are the columns. That represents the millage rate. Then the green is population. If you look at per capita income and average home price, you can see per capita income, it's hard to tell these apart, is the one on the top, And then average home price. And you can see that as the home price has gone up, the millage rate has gone down, which makes sense. So I just wanted to make you all aware of this, if you haven't heard about it, because it is going to go into effect. It is in effect now. The county has to, they have changed the budgeting process and the determination of the millage rate, so we'll be working on that. If you have any, yes ma'am?
Yes, based on your analysis at this point in the law, do you have some expectation, is this going to benefit the average homeowner? Will there be a small increase? Will we see a decrease? Any idea based on all this analysis?
Well, I don't have anything, no empirical data to suggest what might happen. But it only makes sense that if you see millage rates go down and home values go up, those are inverse relationships. Now home values are not going to increase like that. They're only going to increase based on the consumer price index. So I think it is going to be a wash. And it depends upon the county's budget and population increases in services and cost of services. Yes, ma'am.
This millage that you're talking about, that's only for the Union County, not the school.
No, it is the school as well. I'm sorry. Yes, it is everything except the city of Blairsville.
Gotcha. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? If you have any other questions, you can contact me in the commissioner's office. If you want websites, the addresses, let me know and I'll be happy to forward those to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Kathy. Now I can adjourn the meeting.
I had one question.
Well,
Actually, two.
you don't care?
Oh,
It's time for our adjourn. Can you come on up and ask questions if you want to? It's time for questions.
We need you to use the microphone
Yeah,
for
if you
Facebook.
don't
no
care.
problem.
Thanks.
Actually, the first one isn't a question, but I noticed the minutes said the town hall was on April 10th. But I believe the town hall is in the paper is April 29th. Is that right?
29 to 6 o'clock.
Okay. And also, last month, I brought up the fact that Meals on Wheels has seen significant reductions to feeding our elderly people that get Meals on Wheels. And you had mentioned that you're going to meet with Legacy, who runs the program, March 25th. I did get notes so I could read. They had quite a few questions for him, but you didn't talk about where the county might go to help support them so they can continue to make sure the people that need five meals a week can continue to get that instead of 3, or see other services reduced for our seniors.
I want to elaborate on Legacy Link.
You had, what you had said that you wanted to do was you wanted to get public input on that. You were going to give the public an opportunity to have comment at the town hall.
So the county hasn't done anything in the last 2 months to try and put together maybe a proposal, something you might be able to do, so even at the town hall, people would know that?
Is it in June when Legacy Link, when their contract?
The end of their contract is in July.
July.
That is correct. So they're tied. They're tied to what they're doing until July. That is tied at that point. We've not discussed anything with regards to whether our budget at this time will even support doing anything like that.
So we're saying if it's tied, that we are not going to give them any support, and we'll reevaluate that in August? Is that what we're saying?
He's going to take public input at the town hall and see how the general public feels about it, as opposed to just 1 or 2 people. We know that it's a problem. We know that
I
it's.
think it's more concerning to more than one or two people.
Yes, and we want to hear from everybody at the town hall.
Now, the thing is, you haven't indicated some of the things that you'll cover. You've discussed at the town hall people that will be there. So how will people know if you have a real concern on this, even though certain people are going to be there, bring your other concerns?
I'm not sure how to answer that at the town hall.
And Renee might can correct me on these figures, but if the county takes that over, what, another $200,000 or $300,000 to the taxpayer?
It's a little over $350,000 to the budget, and that would be in addition to what is provided by the federal and the state, according to Legacy Link. We got our information from Legacy Link, so.
I think we give $109,000, is what we,
We do that plus, and we give them the building, and we do pay for the utilities for it, and we keep the upkeep on it currently. That's what we contribute right now.
so we'll try to discuss this more at our town hall meeting, you know, when we get input from the people.
We did invite Legacy Link to attend, because we were hoping that they could give some very specific answers to the questions.
I think she gave the specific answers to him March 25th.
She gave him some. She did.
Yeah, she
We were
answered his
hoping that,
questions.
yes, we were hoping that she would be available to answer the public's questions, but she has stated that she has a conflict in her schedule.
And it's a town hall for many things, so.
Yes.
It is.
yeah.
It is.
I'll bring what I can.
Anyone else? Want to come up tonight, sir?
I'm usually loud enough that I'll just stay
Well,
here.
what we do, we.
Facebook can't hear you.
On Facebook Live, they can't hear you unless you got mine.
Oh, thank you. About 3 years ago, there was a small committee that was set up with the objective of putting together a plan to have a sports complex built for baseball and softball. The committee met a few times, and we had it on a roll. I guess what I'm asking is, where are we with it right now?
We're a long way from that right now. We've got so many roads and bridges and culverts to do. And the property. The property, I think, that was maybe set aside or discussed for it out at the farmer's market, we think that can be utilized maybe better. We may be looking for some more property, but definitely not this year. We got too many roads and bridges and infrastructure to take care of.
Do you know how you're going to cover the financing of that? Is it going to be through SPOS?
For the ball,
Yes, for the complex.
it would have to be through SPOS.
Right.
Or I'm not gonna put a burden on the taxpayer.
Right, I understand that. And also, I'm assuming that you realize that today we have about a $6 million surplus in SPOS. And when it comes to the conclusion, there's going to be about a $20 million surplus. So the money's there. I mean, we knew that all along. The biggest problem is what you just said.
I know it, there's a $3 or $4 million roundabout that may have to be built over there at the hospital. How much grant can we get of that? Don't know yet. And if this Myers Bridge hadn't went through, the escape route down there, that's an $8 million bridge that would have to be built to get those people in and out when it floods. So SPOS can be used up very quickly. But I can guarantee you this, what SPOS we take in, you will know how much we got before we spend it and where it's going to be spent. We're not going to hide no money. It'll be made to the public, how much to tuck in and where it's going to be spent.
Well, I know it's a great fact, but Tony was telling us the last couple of meetings about the participation that we have now in rec ball. And of course, I've been here about over 20 years. I've never seen any new facilities for ball that have been built. So I know that there's a need for that. And that's the reason it all started, say, 3 years ago. So I would certainly hope that you would kind of speed it up if there's any way possible to do that. Because we figure from the time that you pulled the trigger, you were looking at least 2 years.
If possible.
So,
That can be addressed at our town hall meetings, as what the public thinks about ball fields instead of roads and bridges.
thank you. Let me put it back up there.
I can address this for you.
Okay.
Dick Bell, I can kind of address his question. Ricky Davenport and I have spent a bunch of hours trying to find property suitable for the ball complex, which is in the slush funds. And we haven't come up with anything. There's some property off of Molly Road, which is pretty far out. But we have beat the bushes. I've sat at people's house to ask them if they were interested in selling their property, and the answer's been no. Ideally, it needs to be near town, near the other fields, so that different age groups aren't miles apart. I'm sorry, we haven't come up with anything.
Well, I know that was the biggest problem that we were running into, was property. Everything else was falling into place. But it was just a
We had
problem.
hoped 22 acres in the industrial park would be able to be bought, but Advanced Cable bought it. So, and putting it in the industrial park had some ups and downs. So, we haven't come up with anything. And we're open to suggestions. I mean, the money's there, there's a need for it, but we haven't been able to find the property.
There are 2 tracks out in the industrial park at airport. I think one is about 15 acres, but it's all in floodplain. It's not good for nothing. Maybe grow rice or something in. And then the other 2 over there next to the airport, the way the airport runs, you might get 1 ball field, because you can't put lights and stuff up in the flight pattern. So them 2 big lots is no good, So, like you say, the land is hard to find.
Carol, on the floodplain issue, there's been a number of times in Union County where underground detention systems have been installed. You can also install a cistern to take care of that.
You won't do that in a FEMA 100-year floodplain, they won't let you touch nothing. You can go fight that battle, but it ain't gonna happen.
That property is actually in the TVA flowage easement. And there's no way you're going to go filling it, hauling dirt in, et cetera, et cetera. TVA definitely will not let you do that. You can remove dirt, but that doesn't help that piece of property. And there's maybe a half an acre that is above the flowage easement, but the rest of it is, I don't see, we've looked at that one, I've walked on it and whatever, but that one I don't see happening.
That's all I've got on that.
So while I'm up here,
Okay.
this may surprise most of you. I hope you get reelected in 3.5 years.
What are you running for? What are you running for?
I hope you get
Oh,
reelected.
I hope you get elected.
I've aged out, and even when I was of age, I was smarter than that.
I appreciate the comment there.
If you get reelected in 3 years, 3.5 years, that means you've done a good job for Union County. And the county is more important than Lamar, you, me, whoever. And I'm not blaming the road department for the winter storm cluster. They gave 120%. they work long hours and miserable conditions to try to get roads open and whatnot. So my question is, what have you learned from that winter storm, and what might you do differently in future winters?
There's not a whole lot you can do to it. I mean, you've got what personnel you've got, with what materials you've got. You know, there's difference in certain winter storms. You got snowstorms, you got ice. We had ice, snow, and ice on top of snow. There's not much you can do with ice, but I think our road department done an excellent job.
I agree.
You could have doubled the personnel and everything in the road department, and I don't think you would have got a thing done any quicker, because that ice it takes sunshine to melt ice, you know, at warm temperature. So, I mean, I think they done all they could do.
Well, I know from personal experience that previous administrations have hired private contractors with their graders and whatnot. Glenn Gooch actually paid me $200 a day many decades ago to scrape roads during a winter storm. The county in the past has been able to hire 8, 10 contractors with mainly graders, but some front-end loaders and whatnot. And that's cost anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000. And that money probably would have saved this past winter hundreds of thousands of dollars a day with all the businesses that were closed and whatnot.
We had people with motor graders, we had tree cutting services on standby. Now, if it just been snow, it's a different story. But ice, you try to scrape ice even with a motor grader. You want to tire your roads up more than you want to have. And probably 80 or 90% of the complaints we got was private roads, and we cannot go on private roads to scrape or put salt or anything. It's left up to the homeowners or whatever a private road is. That was the biggest complaints about not getting in and out of private roads. The county took care of their roads, I think, very well.
I agree. So, I was never motivated to become a commissioner, partly because I knew it would be very difficult to go from a private business where you better make a profit and to change gears and become a county commissioner or whatever. You have to be less concerned about making a profit than serving the community. And I know personally that would have been a very hard transition for me to make. And so I hope that you're able to make that transition, and I hope to be able to vote for you in 3.5 years. Thank you.
The way I look at it, I want to take care of your money better than I took care of my money. It's the way I see it. Because y'all elected me to do a job and to do it as efficiently as I could without cutting services, and that's what I plan on doing.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Nothing else. I thank y'all for coming. Y'all have a good evening.